So let's start with Drew Sanders of Arkansas. 6'4", 235, 32-inch arms. Didn't work out at the combine. almost 1,200 career snaps, but the majority of them last year, which is what I want to ask you a question about in a second here. He was involved in 11 sacks, 39 pressures. And when I watched him in film, that's what I saw. I saw a guy who was kind of rushing when he made plays, it was rushing the passer. It was that kind of thing. And I didn't see as many plays where him just lining up and kind of being a linebacker. And so when I look at his, I thought he hit well. I thought he finished well as a spy. He's got great athleticism and from what I could see on film. But when I look at him, I'm saying almost 80, basically like 2/3 to 70% of his snaps in his career were played last year. We don't have a big sample on him other than last year. And a lot of it was played kind of differently than I think a team's going to play him when they draft him this year. Those are my concerns.
So talking about long, right? You're talking about long lever and long movement and rangy guy who can make some plays when he's going, downhill, of course. He can run through. He's got, good sense to him and good understanding of the game, of course. To your point, he made a lot of plays when he was rushing. I get that. He was disruptive that way. He'll nut up and knock some people around, of course. I still think, at 35, I think, he's still light for a guy who's, what did we say, he was 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to have to put on some weight. And I don't see him as a quick twitch guy. It's not like, he's gaining ground, right? He's rangy. I'm still not sure on both of these longer guys that we're going to be talking about here, how they truly will, be in pass coverage. What truly is their ability to drop, plant and go. They don't look as though they are as comfortable as they should be in that role. I mean, look, it's not that, there's a lot of players that are tall like that who are limited that way. I mean, when we first started watching Devondre Campbell, and those of you who have watched him, I mean, he is a very good athlete for a big body. I think when you compare him, only because he's in my mind from a big, long guy that you want to say, gosh, he's limited. Drew Sanders has limitations that way. I don't see Drew Sanders. You use the word as a great athlete. You know me with superlatives, so I'm not necessarily agreeing with that. I think he's an adequate athlete. There are hints of good athleticism for him, but he has his limitations as well. So, is he a guy that goes in the middle of the second? Where does he go? I don't know what was the projection here in
it was basically like mid 30s to mid 40s was the projection. So,
okay.
I think that there are some, I would be super surprised if he went in the first round. I do think what you said, did kind of trigger like, a little bit of, there's a little bit of that concern I have is where when you see him really get up to speed, it's from depth, right? And that's troubling to a certain extent, right? Because when you and I'm a tall guy, it always took me a little bit longer too, but it's like, when are you ever going to simulate that at the NFL level, right? And when are you ever it's going to be more few and far between than it would be at a place like Arkansas, right? Where it takes him a while to get up to speed. And you're seeing that a lot with him rushing the passer. You really don't have, if there's an athletic tight end running up the seam against him or a running back running an arrow route on him, he doesn't get the opportunity to sort of make, catch up that way.
But he makes some plays. I mean, there's no question about it. He's got some disruption to him, of course. I feel like he can find the ball and go to it, of course. He's just one of those guys that's not, he's not overwhelming. He's not a guy that's grabbing your attention where you're like, I need this cat on my team. So it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, middle of the second round, I could see him going. I could see a team who's looking for an outside backer, to potentially play him in that spot, of course.
Yeah. A reminder that first-round linebackers have not been great investments in the last, for a long time, just because of positional value and stuff. So, that also is going against him in terms of being picked high.